When you vacation with your in-laws, is it really a vacation? Lucky you found accommodations with a pool. Just one thing. The pool is a flooded backyard and your room is a tent in the middle. Today on rLounge, bring your rubber boots to walk right out of this mess that you call family. Up first, a fresh dad must weigh the pros and cons. Mother-in-law makes daughter's first birthday about her. Today was my daughter's first birthday party. I was super excited because one, this is me and my fiance's first kid, but also because we were excited to celebrate our daughter's big 1 year. I will preface this by my mother-in-law grates on me. She's a very loud and proud personality who takes charge of any gathering even when she isn't asked, especially when she isn't asked. I had made it clear that we had the organization and planning of the party and wouldn't need any assistance other than what we asked of everyone, which was to bring a side dish. My daughter's birthday theme was berry first, with strawberries, etc. Mother-in-law stated, "Okay, strawberry shortcake themed." I explained no, it was a berry kind of themed party, and we had a strawberry outfit and crown for my daughter and showed lots of pictures to give her an idea. She stated that my idea was boring and my daughter would rather have a strawberry shortcake theme, as in the toy and TV show Strawberry Shortcake. I told her that she was 1, didn't know strawberry shortcake, and we had the party. This proceeded with her continuously buying strawberry shortcake themed goodies for us to use to save us money. We gave it back each time explaining no, it wasn't on theme, but we appreciated her effort. Come day of the party, I asked everyone to arrive at 1 for the party. Mother-in-law shows up at 11 with her assortment of strawberry shortcake themed party goods and starts demanding my fiance to start putting things up. Fiance has to tell her no repeatedly and take down items that she continues to try and put up over our decorations. Once everyone from my family comes, she settles down on at least decorations, especially because my sister and mother shoot her down and point out that this is mine and my fiance's daughter and not hers, and she doesn't get to dictate a theme. Things unfortunately don't get better from there, as mother-in-law starts taking little one away to open her presents early, dictate that the smash cake isn't appropriate and is sin for wasting, and overall choosing to butt in and control things during the party. My sister is somewhat tilted at this point and ready to act as bouncer and ask her to leave. I explained to fiance that he needed to get his mother under control as she was trying to take the limelight for herself and make the party about her. This caused mother-in-law to pout as she huffed in the corner, ranting to her side of the family that I was being a controlling witch. We finish presents and I bring out the cake to sing happy birthday, and mother-in-law snatches it to sing to her instead, leaving me at this point rattled and tilted as well. Fiance had to take mother-in-law outside to explain she needed to back off and allow us to take control of the party, as it's our house and our kid. She got to host birthdays for all 6 of her kids' 18 birthdays, and she needed to allow us to enjoy and do the same. While fiance was doing this, I decided to go ahead and let daughter start on her smash cake, and everyone starts taking photos and cooing after her. Not even a few minutes into this, mother-in-law comes back in and screeches about us starting without her, which startles little one into a crying fit, and she begins to not want anything to do with the cake because she thinks mother-in-law was yelling at her. Fiance had to escort mother-in-law out to leave after this, but the party didn't really pick up momentum after this as my daughter was fussy and upset for the rest of the party. Basically, mother-in-law spent the whole party trying to take charge and ending on spoiling the day for my daughter and the highlight of her first birthday, all because it wasn't about her. It feels silly, and I know that my daughter won't remember it, but it feels like this day was taken away from us and will always remember her first birthday as struggling for control from my mother-in-law. My parents and grandparents were pretty upset and offered to pay for a smash cake and have a private party with my side of the family to make up for it, but it just didn't feel the same. I just needed to rant this out because I'm just overall upset about it, but maybe I'm also being ridiculous. Who knows? If you got this far, thanks for reading. Let's get some opinions from the community. Our first one, hope she's never invited to another of your family's birthday parties again. Also, I'd go low contact with her, if not no contact. Her behavior was atrocious. Another person chimes in, I understand some people enjoy being the center of attention, but your mother-in-law took it over the line into desperate and deranged. You are not overreacting. The excuses she will try to use to justify her behavior will be bizarre and likely insulting. Please gird your loins and hold on tightly to your sanity, because hers seems a distant memory. I hope that this nudges your dear husband into wanting no contact. I'm guessing you're already there. The OP replies, I really want to go no contact, but also respect that my fiance loves his mom and does not want to have her included in our life. I think low contact will be something going forward after the incident because I really can't face his mother right now. I'm sorry, OP. I think low contact would be best there, at least for the next little while. You need some space from her. What she did was incredibly disrespectful, and maybe in that time, you and your fiancé can discuss how you felt about what happened and what steps to take next. Your fiancé can love his mom all he wants, but what happens with the next thing that she ruins for your little girl? He needs to protect his little girl's best interests. Your husband has some priorities to weigh out. What do you think? Next up, learn how this family survived the Great Flood. My stepmother-in-law asked my family to sleep in the flooded yard. Let me start by saying this is my first Reddit post. I am a 44 female and have been married for 16 years, together for 23 years, 48 male. He grew up as an only child, but father-in-law had a baby when he was 13. We live 14 hours away from my husband's father-in-law's state. When I met my husband, my father-in-law was dating a Karen, literally and figurative, as her name is Karen. I had had over 2 decades to learn that this woman is the equivalent of an unstable grenade with a faulty pin. My husband, H, can't stand his stepmother. She will be talking, and my husband will just get up and leave the room. I don't feel that I can be as free in my escape, so I stand there listening-ish, smiling, nodding, all the while plotting my husband's demise. I guess that's the basics, except to say that after our son, also only child, was born in March of 2009. One of my biggest pet peeves is people throwing money at problems and those who feel like it's the only way to live. I would rather play a board game and snack on leftovers. No, not happening. Must eat out 95% of the time. Those with kids can understand that eating in, maybe takeout can be okay, but eating in restaurants, especially gourmet restaurants, are impossible. Plus, I have an autoimmune issue and traveling takes a toll on my body. When our son was born in 2009, we, me, my husband, father-in-law, stepmother-in-law, and real mother-in-law, love her for real, and stepfather-in-law from an even farther state, talked about all meeting up in the state my father-in-law lives so my son could meet his family. I am from a big family, but not close, so I wanted to be sure my son knew his family and have an open relationship with them. The earliest holiday weekend was July 4th, USA dweller. We all agreed about the time, dates, arrangements, etc. As I said, it's a 14-hour drive. My son was an emergency C-section, so we both almost died and I was still recovering. My little champ was a fighter and is now a 14-year-old who towers over me. Sorry, Mom writes. We were staying at father-in-law's stepmother-in-law's home as they insisted it would be rude to get a hotel. Okay, I hate hotels, so I knew I wouldn't get bed bugs or worse. I'm a bed maker, even in a hotel, in a tent, at home. It is what it is. So I am very careful about how to care for other people's things, environment, etc. I cleaned the room we stayed in throughout every day we were there. I never left dirty diapers around, washed dishes, offered repeatedly to cook, paid our own way, etc. I say this because I'm not a guest from hell. I even wash, dry, and remake the bedding before I leave. Overall, everything went really well, and we all decided to make it a yearly event. Spring ahead to Christmas of 2012. Father-in-law, stepmother-in-law sent us, my husband, myself, and our 3-year-old, a 16-person tent. It was great because we loved to camp and thought it was funny, and we decided to try it out in the backyard, and it took forever to put together. Definitely a party tent. Spring again to May 2013. A deer running through our backyard jumped into the tent, breaking one of the main supports. We say nothing because we didn't want to get backlash or the arrival of another 16-person tent, as it would be unnecessary due to the size, as well as not a necessary expense. Spring forward to a week before our annual trek to father-in-law's state. I get a message on Facebook. I do not use cell phones, so asking if we can bring that tent we got you for Christmas. We were thinking you could set it up in the backyard and you would have more privacy, and, of course, we will give you access to the bathroom. Ugh, FML. 1. We have to explain that our last campout was interrupted by a wonky deer. Uninjured, just a menace, but a cute menace. 2. Their backyard was flooded, so we would, I don't know, have a moat? The yard is only about twice the size of the tent itself. 3. We live in the country. Our backyard ends at the edge of a forest. They live in a city, a crime-ridden city. 4. My son was 4 years old. She has no children, but I think this one is obvious. Yes? No? 5. Privacy? 4 walls and a door versus fabric flaps and fiberglass poles? FML. We explain, and no, we didn't want another one. Again, an unnecessary expense. We have plenty of gear for our likes. We can stay at a hotel or a campground with our own equipment. But no. Scoff, I guess I can move my clothes off the guest bed. Huff, I really didn't feel like having to clean up for you. But if you can't camp in the yard, I guess I can put them in the closet. Ugh. We were not allowed to pay for a hotel because it would be rude not to stay with family. FML. I'm going to stop there. I have more stories than you can imagine. If anyone wants to read more, let me know. Why the heck would anyone suggest sleeping in a pool? That's crazy because you wouldn't suggest such a ridiculous thing. So why would they expect you to sleep in a flooded yard? And then to make you feel bad for the fact that they don't know how to fold and put away their own laundry? Maybe next time you can say that you're taking a year off of your annual visit. What would you do? Next up, OP's saga continues. This one's from the same OP. How my stepmother-in-law helped me become a repeat customer at a laundromat in a state 14 hours from my home. I posted about the flooded backyard campout invite and some interest was shown, so here is more in no particular order. 1. The 3 to 4 years we did this, my father-in-law and stepmother-in-law moved into a new home. I asked if I could do laundry because I don't pack 7 or 8 outfits for a week. I plan to wash clothes between fun things. No big deal. Father-in-law says sure. By this time, I'm in my mid-30s and have used household appliances, specifically washers and dryers, for a long while. I put clothes on the washer and we went to visit other family. Came back, put clothes in the dryer, left to get lunch. Came back and all of our clean clothes were taken out of the dryer piece by piece and thrown into the guest room. On the floor, the bed, a sock on the ceiling fan blade. I had seen a laundromat near their home. I took my dirty laundry and went there to clean my clothes. I was told by a stepmother-in-law, "How rude is it to use people's possessions without asking?" I guess father-in-law's okay was not sufficient? As well as, how rude it was to use a filthy laundromat while being a guest in their house. Never washed clothes there again. Wash King, here I come. 2. The second year we went to visit father-in-law stepmother-in-law on July 4th, I had just had a hysterectomy and the doctor botched it and I had to have a second surgery and half of my bladder had to be excised due to damage. I was so sick and sore, but I rallied and went. No F's were given about what my body was dealing with, that I had a 1-year-old and I'm still not feeling the welcome in their home. My father-in-law retrieves, cleans, and resells golf balls from the courses he plays. No problem. The only thing I know about golf is I don't want to watch it. My husband sleeps later because he is a night owl. I went into their 3-season room where the in-laws were already awake. My 1-year-old son picks up a golf ball and I gently tell him no. Again, this room has 3 walls made of windows and I know he has 1, but he can throw hard. Father-in-law says in his house he makes the rules and he thinks it's fine to let my son play with a golf ball. Go malicious compliance. I didn't say a word. In that moment, my son reels back and releases that golf ball like he was launching a missile. It hit the small wood frame around one of the windows, but doesn't break the window. Suddenly, it's not appropriate for a 1-year-old to play with golf balls. I then cleared my throat and said, "With all respect, I know you have rules in your home, and I will comply with every one of them, but only I and your son will make the rules for our child." 3. Stepmother-in-law refuses to let us do anything if she has to work a day or 2 while we are visiting. If we do anything without her, we pay. Like sulky, tantrum, yelling, etc. She found out we went to eat at a fast food place where my toddler could play, and she was pissed. "How can we be so cruel to leave her out? I told you, no activities until after 6 p.m. when I get home. If I call from work and you don't answer, I know you're having fun without me. It's insane." 4. Her birthday is near the time of year we visit. We never assume we are going to spend all of our time with any one group of people and understand that some things we won't be able to attend. It's adulting, no biggie. When my son was 3 and we were told, "Blank day is my birthday," I planned to spend the entire day with my husband, father-in-law, and you can't be there. I need you to leave by 8 a.m. and don't come back until after 8 p.m. If our car is gone, you have to wait for us to return. Okay, everyone has the right to spend their birthday as they wish. No problem. My real mother-in-law and stepfather-in-law were visiting, so we decided to spend the entire day with them. All good. Nope, I had never been to the USA freshwater seas, so my husband thought it would be fun to go to the freshwater sea named for a state. When stepmother-in-law heard our plans, she said, "No, you can't do that." My husband was confused and never hid his contempt for this woman and asked, "Why not? You wanted us gone for the day. What do you expect us to do?" She responds, "You just drove 14 hours. Now you want to drive an hour and a half to this state named landlocked freshwater sea? Your baby is too young. You will be horrible in the car. You should wait until we can go too. My husband just laughed and walked away. We went, saw lighthouses in town created to be in the Dutch style, went to museums, walked a sandy border to the freshwater sea. It was amazing. When we dropped off Glenda the Good Witch, mother-in-law, we returned to Oz to face the Wicked Witch. When she asked what we did all day, we told her. I have seen volcanoes give more warning before raining terror on villages. She ranted. She raved. It was absurd. She said, I told you not to go there, and without us? How rude. You're supposed to include family on family trips. My husband just asked her what did she think we would do after our hosts kicked us out of the house with a 3-year-old. She says, I don't know, go to a park or something. My husband is very calm and quiet most of the time, but this woman grates on his every nerve. He stared at her for a minute and starts laughing while brushing past her, leaving the room. 5. Before we had our child, we bought a house and they came to visit. We had plenty of space and they had their own bathroom. The morning after their first night, I knocked to let them know breakfast was ready. When my father-in-law opened the door, my stepmother-in-law was laying on a pallet on the floor beside the bed. I asked if everything was okay and the response was, Yeah, it's fine. I don't like your bed. I offered feather mattress, memory foam, anything. Nope. She chose to sleep on the floor out of spite. We had nothing planned, but we had information for lots of things to do in our area. She has to plan every vacation as if it were a death march. No free time, no hangout time. So, because we didn't offer a fully guided tour, she punished us by refusing to use a brand new bed. Again, there's so many more, but I am done for now. Enjoy. By the way, we never stay with them and haven't since our son was about 8. They would never let him sleep outside of our guest room. An 8-year-old doesn't need to sleep with his parents, and he's not a kleptomaniac, so I don't know what they thought he would get into. Enjoy. Whoa. I'm glad you all eventually decided to not stay with them. That sounds like torture. It's hard to enjoy your time with people when it feels like a prison. What if one year you all went on vacation somewhere else? Like met halfway somewhere for a camping trip. That way you both are out of your element and it's not about whose space you're in. What do you think? Thank you for joining us today on rLounge. Before you go, be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you have something you want to say regarding today's content, we want to hear it. Until next time.